Good afternoon, Zimbabwe and South Africa. Welcome to Global Education Study Abroad Virtual Expo. We've got another webinar for you today. We've just started our week 4 webinars. So we've got another week of webinars for you. Today we're going down the medical route. We've got our premium partner, that's been with us since we've started working with medical side of the students looking to study abroad. The reason we chose working with SGU or St. George's University is because of the prestige and what they do, and also, you know, the process on how to become a doctor and how to get into that field is so important. And there's so much misinformation. The Google search is really difficult to do now. So we thought, you know what, let's get our webinars up and running and let's get the big people involved. And today we've got Bradley Wade, who's the regional director who looks after us here in our region. We've got Anne Grace, who's just started with us as well. So we're looking forward to meeting her as well and getting to know more of her. So I'm going to stop talking and a little bit of housekeeping before I stop. Please put your questions in the chat box and we'll go from there. We're a small family business. We look after your entire focus of studying overseas, from applications, personal statements. So don't stress. We'll take all the anxiety away from you and we'll make sure it's done correctly. So I'm going to hand over to Bradley, who's going to start this presentation.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Global Education, and welcome everybody to St. George's University presentation. As George said, my name is Bradley Wade. I'm the Regional Director for St. George's University for Africa. And although we've got campuses in Grenada for students looking to end up practicing as a doctor in the US, and we've got a campus in the UK as well, for those interested in the UK route. So I'm joined by my colleague Anne Grace. Anne Grace, say hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for hosting us, Global.
Yeah, so Anne Grace is based in Rwanda and looks after all of our students in East and Southern Africa. I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa, some of the time, and in Canada, other parts of the time of the year. So I get to the best of both worlds. So Anne Grace and I were kind of deciding who's going to do this presentation, but I think
Please do.
I'm going to take it away. Anne Grace is new to us, and she'll be your point of contact for the application process, but I'm going to share some information through this. Now, hopefully, George, our video will work. So I just want to, once we do share, I just want to make sure that you can actually see and hear the video. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen, and if you can just let me know verbally, I can't see anything at the moment, that you can see my screen. All good?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right. And if when I start playing the video, we're going to start with a short 2-minute video. If it's not showing correctly on your side, George, please just shout and we'll stop, and I'll rather just talk through it, okay? So fingers crossed, technology works for us. Here we go.
Hello, future doctors from Africa. My name is Dr. Marios Lucas, and I'm the Dean of the School of Medicine at St. George's University. Since its founding in 1976, St. George's University has evolved into a top center of international medical education, drawing students and faculty from over 150 countries, including Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, and many more. For more than 40 years, St. George's University has provided the world with over 19,000 highly trained doctors, offering a medical degree program with entry points available for students with various levels of education. We are proud to say that over 500 of those graduates have come from Africa. SGU has a unique global perspective and is well equipped to help you achieve your fullest potential, with a unique opportunity for you to begin your medical career in Grenada, the United Kingdom, or India. With our large network of over 70 affiliated hospitals and health centers in the US and UK, all eligible students will have the possibility to complete their clinical rotations in those 2 countries. Beyond the breadth of our programs, our award-winning Department of Educational Services implements innovative programs that prepare students for course and licensure examinations, and new purpose-built spaces make for an optimal teaching environment. We are a truly international institution that boasts a long, proud, and verifiable history of academic success, USMLE pass rates, and residency matches, attracting the highest quality students, teachers, and researchers from around the world. We look forward to welcoming you and helping you start your journey to become a doctor.
Great. So hopefully technology worked and you were able to see and hear that short video, just a brief introduction from our dean. So this is the campus in Grenada. Now, St. George's University has been around for a very long time, around 45 years now. We're one of the largest and most well-established and recognized schools of medicine, international schools of medicine in the Caribbean. And most of our students come from the United States, about 60% of our students, another 20% from Canada, and another 20% from the rest of the world. And why do they come to us? Well, as you will very well know, there are limited spaces in schools of medicine around the world, especially in Southern Africa. We know that there are a few number of schools of medicine, and the competition to get in is extremely high. The competition then to get into international schools of medicine, if you don't happen to get into a local one, is even higher. The stats at the moment are less than 1% of the school population in US medical schools are international students, and less than 2% in the UK. So the competition is tough. It's difficult to get into a school of medicine at a university. The beauty about St. George's University is that we do not have a capacity limit. So if you really want to be a doctor, if you have the academic entry requirements and you have the funding, the means to be able to pay for the program, then we have a place for you. We are expanding all the time. As you can see there, a large US-style campus in a beautiful location. Grenada is not your destination, although this is a beautiful island in the Caribbean. This is a route to practicing in the US or a route to practicing in the UK. We do have a campus in the UK, in Newcastle, in partnership with Northumbria University. So for students who are interested in practicing in the US or the UK, we have options and routes for you. Right, since our inception, we've actually graduated over 19,000 successful doctors who are practicing around the world, some of them in some of the top hospitals around the world. So this is a list of the top 20 hospitals in the US, and we have our graduates practicing as doctors in all of them. You will recognize some of those names, for example, Mayo Clinic, UCLA Medical Center in LA, Johns Hopkins Hospital. You'll recognize that name. They've been very prolific during the pandemic in terms of research, and New York Presbyterian Hospital in New York. We've also got our graduates practicing in all 50 states across the US and in more than 50 countries around the world. The US, UK, and in more than 50 countries around the world. The number one question you should be asking when choosing a medical school is, will I get a US residency? Now here, I'm not talking about a green card or citizenship. I'm talking about, in medical education terms, a US residency. What does that mean? That means that once you graduate with your degree, once you've got your degree, you will need to match to a hospital, a clinic, or a practice to be able to specialize in your area of speciality. So throughout your degree, you're going to get exposure to various types of medicine practice. So whether you want to be a surgeon or a family doctor, whether you want to go into pathology, neurology, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, whatever it is, you will specialize after you graduate with your degree through a residency. So you'll become a resident doctor, you will get paid a salary, but you'll be specializing before you become a fully licensed doctor. In the UK, that's called a foundation year program. So will you get a placement in a UK foundation program, or will you get a match in a US residency? That's also a very competitive process. There are limited places, and students vie for those places. We have over a 90% residency placement rate for eligible international graduates who applied for US residencies over the last 3 years. That's very high for international students. And this year, for August for 2022, the recent match rate is going to be higher. So we'll publish those figures in August, September this year, but it's going to be higher than 90%. So we've got a very good track record in actually helping students match to the residency of their choice. As a result, SGU, St. George's University, or SGU as we're known, is the #1 provider into first-year US residencies for the last 12 years combined. So in 2021, over 1,000 US residencies, and that's kind of a trend that we've got year on year. So that means, and all of these statements are absolutely verifiable, we've got to back it up with data. There is no other medical school in the world that provides more new doctors into the US healthcare system. We are the largest provider of doctors into the US healthcare system. And now we're talking about medical schools in the US, the UK, and all other international medical schools. As a result, we've got our doctors practicing in the US, a number of them, around 12,500 doctors currently practicing. So that makes us really the largest source of physicians. So we are the #1 school of medicine in terms of the number of doctors actually practicing in the US as well. And the reason we talk about these statistics is not just to brag, but it's to give you confidence in choosing the right school of medicine. You want to get to not only, you don't just want to focus on where it is you're going to be studying. You want to focus on where it is you're going to end up being able to practice as a doctor. Are you going to be able to get into the career of your choice in medicine? One of the reasons for our success is in school, often you'll find that you have a career guidance counselor. And that doesn't stop with St. George's University when you come to our university. We continue through our Office of Career Guidance and Student Development to really help you develop that personalized residency strategy. What kind of a doctor do you want to be? Where do you want to practice? What sort of hospital do you want to go to? We help you to match to your first choice. And if you don't match to your first choice, at least second or third choice as well during the residency match process. Here's another important question you should be asking is, how will St. George's University Clinical Network help me to obtain a residency? Now, what do I mean by clinical network? Well, schools of medicine, universities who train doctors work in partnership with hospitals, because a certain part of your degree, you've got to do clinical rotations or practical experience. You've actually got to work and study in a hospital, not just in a classroom or a lab in the university. And some universities work with, a handful of clinics or hospitals around here. And there, with St. George's University, we have over 75 hospitals and health systems across the US and UK, where students will do their clinical training and where they'll be matching into residency as well. That gives you a great chance of being able to match to the speciality that you're interested in. So a lot of our students go into internal medicine and family medicine, but of course we've got residency placements across all specialities, and especially down to the not so popular ones or the difficult to get into ones such as pathology, neurology, anesthesiology, etc. Right, here's a third question that is important for you to ask. Does my education at St. George's University prepare me for the USMLE? Now, if you've never heard of that term before, that's the US Medical License Exam. In the UK, it's known as the PLAB. So this is the medical license exam for being able to practice as a doctor in either the US or the UK. So I'm going to be talking about the USMLE rates because that's where most of our students go. And again, this is a tough exam. All right. There are students from all around the world who are trying to write this exam. It's not easy to pass. And so it's important for us to prepare you for that exam for the next stage in your career. We have a 97% USMLE Step 1 pass rate for our international first-time test takers. So this is first-time pass rate, okay, over the last 3 years. And it happens in 3 steps, step 1, step 2, step 3. We're very proud of our pass rates. And one of the reasons we have such a fantastic pass rate is because we prepare you for the format of the exam. So all of our tests and our assessments throughout the degree are in a similar format to the USMLE format. So you're not surprised when you get to the USMLE external exam to kind of, face that format for the first time. So that's why one of the reasons we have such a high pass rate. Right, this is kind of what the program looks like. So in the US, and I hope you can see my cursor here, in the US, if you were to apply to a School of Medicine, you would first have to do a 4-year undergraduate degree in the requisite sciences. So you would have to do a 4-year bachelor's degree first, and then you could apply to med school. And there's no guarantee that you will get in, all right? So that's 4 years plus, this is a US style medical degree, 4 years of undergrad plus 4 years of your MD program. Okay, the MD stands for Doctor of Medicine. Now, some people say it should be DM, but it's actually Doctor of Medicine program. And in South Africa and Southern Africa, you would know it as the MBBS or the MBCHB. So this is the US nomenclature, the MD program. Now, for St. George's University, we can actually accept you if you've done a bachelor's degree in the requisite sciences. If you've done a 3-year degree, it doesn't have to be 4 years, but as long as it's a complete bachelor's degree in science, we will accept you as well, just like a typical US school of medicine. We will accept you into year 1 of the 4-year MD program. Okay, so this is the 4-year MD, Doctor of Medicine degree. The first 2 years of this program over here are done in classrooms and labs, and these 2 years here are done in our clinical network of hospitals and clinics, right? So this is where your practical clinicals are done over here. So that's the 4-year program. Then you would graduate, you've got your degree, and then after year 4, you would match into residency, and you would go and specialize as a resident doctor. Or as I said in the UK, do your foundation years where you would specialize in the UK. Right, now what about high school students? Okay, so I'm sure we've got a few high school students dialed into this particular live webinar and who will be viewing the recording as well, and who have various different types of secondary education that they'll be completing. So for example, let me speak about South Africa. If you've got a South African matric, then you would be eligible to start here. All right, so this is year 2 of our preclinical pathway, which leads into the MD program. So you would do year 2 and year 3 of the preclinical program before you would promote into the MD program. So it would take you 6 years. And that's kind of equivalent to sort of a typical School of Medicine in a South African university. Okay, so you would need the appropriate marks and requisite subjects to be able to enter this particular program. Let's say, for example, you're on the Cambridge curriculum. Now, if you've got your A-levels and you've got the appropriate A-level subjects and marks, you would be eligible to start here. So you would only do year 3 of the preclinical program before you promote into the 4-year MD program. So you would do a 5-year program in total. AS levels will be accepted here into year 6. So you would do 2 years of preclinical and then 4 years of the MD. IGCSE would be accepted into the 7-year program. So you would do 3 years of preclinical and then 4 years of the MD program. Okay, might seem like a little complicated, but what we're trying to say is that instead of 8 years, if you're going the US route, we've got 5, 6, or 7-year options for you, depending on what high school qualification you are applying for. And that's true whether you're going to our Grenada campus and heading for the US route, or whether you're going to our UK campus and heading the UK route. Now down here, you'll see kind of what the years are. And over here, we've got the flags. So this is the Grenada flag and the UK flag, and that's the India flag. We do have a campus in India, but that's mainly really for students either in India or around that particular region. For our purposes in Southern Africa, students mainly come to Grenada if they want to follow the US route. So they'll do, I'm going to use South African matrics as an example. They would do 4 years in Grenada, 2 years preclinical, 2 years of basic principles of medicine and principles of clinical medicine. That's in classrooms and labs. And then they would go and do clinical rotations in the US hospitals, okay, before they graduate and then go on to residency. For those interested in the UK route, they would go to our Northumbria University partner in Newcastle, and you would do your 3 years here, 2 years of preclinical, first year of the 4-year MD program in the UK. all students must come to the second year of the MD program. They must come to the Grenada campus because that's where we're preparing you for your clinical rotations. And then you could go on and do your clinical rotations in the UK. There are a few tricky things around the study visa for the UK. I'm studying an international program like ours, but we have ways and means around that. You can end up with a dual degree by going the Northumbria route, which allows you to complete the entire program in the UK. And if you're interested in that, you can just get hold of us and we can tell you how that works. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, but I'll move on. That I've already explained in a previous slide. So we'll just talk about Northumbria University. Essentially, it is the St. George's University School of Medicine degree being taught in partnership with Northumbria University. So it's not a UK degree, it's this SGU degree. But it's exactly the same curriculum, the same faculty, the same SGU outcomes. In fact, a lot of our Canadian students actually choose to go to the UK. They're very interested in going to the UK. They have difficulty in finding placement in Canadian medical schools, and they come across to Newcastle. It's something that they're more familiar with in terms of the type of city. You know, it's a modern student city in the UK, and that's what they enjoy. Right, another question you should be asking: how will I be supported to succeed in my medical education? Because make no bones about it, studying medicine is difficult. It is challenging. It's difficult to keep the momentum up, to keep those grades up. So you need a lot of support. We don't just throw you in and expect you to swim. We support you. So we do that by breaking down our very large intake of students into smaller colleges and smaller class sizes and labs. So in most of our classes and labs, you'll have a small student to faculty ratio, which gives you that direct contact with the faculty. It gives you that individualized attention. That makes a huge difference. In addition to that, we have a huge number of faculty. It's kind of the reason we can do such a small student to faculty ratio. 2,000 faculty, most of which are in our clinical network of hospitals, and around 500 campus-based staff across Grenada and Northumbria, around 200 visiting professors, and all of these professors have either an MD or PhD or equivalent, and it's all taught in English. That's a very important point, actually, that our program is taught in English. And we also require you to have an English proficiency exam, like an IELTS or a TOEFL or a Pearson English proficiency test, because studying medicine is difficult. The academic requirements are rigorous. The academic English is challenging. And we need you to be able to demonstrate that you are confident in that. A lot of students actually end up coming to us if they've already gone to the Far East or Eastern Europe and they've progressed through their program. Some of them come to us and say that they struggle with the English from the faculty. Although those universities say that they teach in English, some students struggle with the level of English from the faculty itself. That's why it's great to be able to choose an international university where you know for a fact that English is the instructional medium. Our Department of Educational Services is another department that supports you in your success. Studying medicine, as I said, to succeed on the academics of the program, you also need to know how to study medicine. So time management skills are important, study skills are important, test taking, note taking skills. We provide study groups and tutorials. You're not going to be left alone. It's very much aimed around ensuring that you are successful and passing. And of course, all of our students are international students. But when we talk about non-US and non-Canadian students, students from around the world, and especially from Africa, it's far away. Whether you're in Newcastle in the UK or whether you're in Grenada in the Caribbean, it's far away from home. And sometimes if English is your second language, you might be struggling a bit. We'll provide support there. Sometimes the academics in terms of your curriculum is slightly different to what you're experiencing there. We'll provide some academic enhancement programs for you. We'll provide other medical students to help mentor you. And of course, our faculty who have international experience will be on hand to support you as well. We even have an African Students Association. They tend to hang out a lot and a lot of camaraderie there as well, to support each other as they go through the program. Right, a fifth question to consider is a very important one. Where will my medical degree allow me to practice medicine? In other words, are you accredited? Are you licensed? Is your degree recognized? Will I be able to practice anywhere in the world? And the short answer is yes. Our main accrediting body is the Grenada Medical and Dental Council. And the US Department of Education has deemed our accreditation comparable to US accreditation. So we're on par with US medical schools. Our students are treated equally in terms of being able to do their clinical rotations in the US and in the UK, and to do their residency as well. So that accreditation is absolutely critical. As I said, we've got students practicing in all 50 states across the US, in the UK, and in more than 50 countries around the world. So if you wanted to come back home to South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, wherever it was, we've got students who have become fully licensed doctors overseas through the SGU program, and they've come back and their degrees are recognized and they're practicing as doctors in their home countries. Right, what will life be like at St. George's University? So here I'm going to play another short 3-minute video, and this is going to give you a glimpse of what life is like in the Caribbean at the True Blue campus in Grenada. And if you go onto our YouTube channel, you can have a look at what the Northumbria campus looks like as well. Okay, I don't have it on this presentation particularly, but you'll be able to see we've got loads and loads of videos on our YouTube channel, fantastic information, really well shot videos, and you can see what the Northumbria campus look like. But let's go and see what Grenada looks like. And hopefully it works.
When I landed at SGU, the campus was beautiful. It was sunny, there was a nice breeze in the air, but everyone was welcoming. And that's what was, truly important for that first impression. The opportunity for a new family was out there.
So on campus, an SGU lifestyle, I think, is similar to going to school in the States, except you have this beautiful environment where you're really focused on medical education. Everyone is so focused on this goal of becoming a doctor.
Having a good support system while you're in medical school with your friends is something that's really vital. It definitely showed me that SGU really wants you to be a family amongst your peers.
So I think the school does a very good job of keeping the campus very student-oriented. Everything that we would need or want is very close by or on campus.
This is a comprehensive campus. We have 65 buildings. It looks like a U.S. campus. Our brand new dorm is spectacular. It has a view that would rival a resort hotel looking out over the beaches. We have our new exercise facility.
Honestly, I started working out for the first time while in medical school because of that gym. They just had all up-to-date facilities and equipment.
We have 24-hour-a-day restaurants. We have a variety of food and entertainment offerings. We create an incredibly safe and supportive environment on our campus. We actually run our own bus service.
SGU Command Center, Raquel speaking.
There's an incredible security system over here. There's a control room where everything is marked, from the weather off the coast of Africa to hundreds of cameras that take security into mind.
We really cater to the unique needs of all of our students and try to make them at home and make the learning environment as pleasant as possible.
So I'm in a handful of associations. They give you a lot more opportunities than just sitting in the classroom, and so that's why I wanted to get involved.
When I found that there was an emergency medicine club here on campus, that was something that I was extremely interested in becoming a part of.
Being a part of IEA, the Honor Society here on campus, I've gotten to know a lot of the past presidents, and they're extremely successful physicians now, and having those connections all over the world is going to set me up very well for applying for residency.
these are the things that I do that makes me happy, and this is how I'm going to fill in my other gaps with, this is what I need to do in order to be successful. And I think the balance is really the key here.
One of the really exciting things about SGU is the diversity here on campus. There's so many students that are from all over the world.
Not too many other schools have the type of diversity that St. George's has. You've got students from, multiple different countries. You learn about their backgrounds, their customs, their cultures. I think that is crucial, in terms of being able to take care of people down the road. As a doctor, you don't see only people who look and talk like you. You see people from all different types of backgrounds.
There's no other place where you would meet this many different types of people in one tiny school.
I think it's been a good investment coming to St. George's. You can't put a price on experiences, and the experiences that I've had here have been phenomenal.
I don't think that I would have been able to get the experience that I've gotten here at SGU anywhere else. So to me, that is invaluable. You can't put a price tag on that.
Okay, great. So what you saw in the video there was state-of-the-art facilities, as I said, a US-style campus, and gyms, restaurants. This is actually an open plan study area, can you believe it? Imagine trying to study with that view. And our own security system, buses, transport, and on-site accommodation. As you would have heard as well, loads of student clubs and organizations. So students get very, very involved with one another, make fantastic connections and friends, global friends, forever, for life. And of course, being an island, absolutely stunning, right? So one of the best diving locations in the Caribbean, and loads of just downtime as well for you to relax and recover from the rigors of study. Now, again, on our website and on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see some more images of what the Newcastle campus looks like at Northumbria University in the UK. And that's quite different. That's a modern student city, very vibrant as well, but we have equal amounts of opportunity in terms of clubs, organizations, sports and recreation opportunities for students in the UK as well. Right, the all-important question, how do I apply? Well, you can contact Global Education to help you with your application. They have been working with us for a very long time and successfully placed students with St. George's University in the past. We currently have a number of live applications with them, and very excited students ready to start with us in August. And we've got students studying with us who've come from Global in the years past as well. What they will do is they will take you through an online application process, and where you'll need to submit all of your academics. You don't need to have all of your secondary school complete yet. So your last academics that you've completed, perhaps mock results or indicative results, depending on the curriculum that you're doing at the moment, 2 letters of recommendation, your English exam results. And again, that doesn't have to be finalized before you start your application. You can submit that later on in the process once you have it, and a personal statement highlighting any extracurricular activities and who you are, your dreams and passions and goals. We do have great blogs on our website as to how to prepare for the personal statement and what to include. So you can read that in preparation for your application. And then obviously your passport as well. As I said, we have a rolling application throughout the year, no deadline. There is a practical deadline, which is kind of a month before the start, each of our start dates. And our start dates are mainly August, September, because August for Grenada, September for the UK, but kind of that period, August, September. We also have a start date in January as well. We do have a third start date in April, but that's really for the bachelor degree holders who are interested in going straight into the 4-year MD program. Right, once we've reviewed all of that, you may be invited for an interview. And at that stage, there's a good indication that things are going well with your application. The interview will be conducted by one of our SGU graduates, our doctors. Again, we've got a fantastic blog on our website to help you prepare for that interview. What are the questions you're going to be asked? What kind of questions should you be asking during that interview? And really, that's going to be a great opportunity for us to get to know you, for you to get to know a little bit more about the university. And that's almost the final stage in the application process. If you have had a great interview, you will get a conditional offer if we still need some of your final academics and your English exam results, or you'll get a full offer if we already have all of your documents in place. Once you accept the offer and submit your deposit to secure your spot, you then book your travel to Grenada or the UK and you start studying medicine. And it's that simple. For more information, you can get hold of Global Education. You can get hold of us directly and we can set up a joint one-to-one consultation for you. We can tell you a little bit more about it. We're very happy to meet with you and your parents, well, your sponsors, whoever it is that you're working with to progress your application. This QR code here will just take you to our website for more information. Unfortunately, I don't have Anne-Grace's contact details on this presentation here, but you can get hold of me and I'll put you in touch with Anne-Grace. She'll be the one holding your hand throughout the entire process for your application. I'm sure there's going to be a number of questions that we've got, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen and just open up to any
Bradley.
All live to any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you, Bradley. Really appreciate that. And those videos were well put. It's great to see that information that we can share with students. Bradley, the one thing I wanted to ask you is a lot of questions that we get from students in terms of why should they focus on doing their residency in the United States. From our perspective, we like to look at what do doctors around the world earn, and the cost to study overseas is expensive, let alone the cost to study medicine. So for us, it's like, how do you make a return on your investment is potentially doing your residency in the United States. Could you go a little bit on to what doctors earn in the United States compared to other places in the world and why it should be a focus for students from South Africa?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great question and we get asked that quite a lot as well. So being a university, we can't really give you, prescriptive sort of amounts that doctors earn. You can go and research that for yourself online. The information is actually quite widely available. But just to give you an indication, when you graduate with your degree, you then become a resident doctor. And depending on the speciality you've chosen, in the US, you may do anywhere between 3 to 7 years residency. So usually sort of internal medicine or family medicine is the shorter residencies, around 3-4 years. If you're going into neurology or pathology or anesthesiology, it's longer, 6-7 years, that sort of thing. Now, during that stage, you are getting paid as a resident doctor, roughly, and this is very roughly, and I would not like to be quoted on it, but it's around $60,000 US a year that resident doctors earn. And that will vary depending on which hospital you're at, which city you're in, whether it's a rural or an urban hospital. So that is really just a very rough sort of indicative figure. Once doctors graduate and become fully licensed, and then they actually get their first job as a licensed doctor in a hospital or a clinic, the starting salaries in the US for doctors are around about the $150,000 US a year mark. So, when you put that back in your own currency, that's a huge salary. Not just a huge salary from a South African or a Southern African perspective, but from a US perspective, that is a big salary to start with. Now you've put in the years, right? You may have done 6 years of your MD program. You may have done 6 years of residency. So it's quite a long haul to get there. So it's definitely, you've earned it. It's not just that hospitals are giving away money to doctors. You've definitely earned it. The one thing to note, however, is that the insurance for doctors in the US is pretty high. So when you do become a licensed doctor, you do have to take out various insurance policies that are compulsory for you to be a licensed doctor. So you do need to be aware of that. It doesn't mean that, US doctors earn massively amounts more than, for example, UK doctors. They do earn more, but in the UK, because of the NHS system, there isn't this requirement to take out those hugely expensive insurance policies because that US doctors do. But on par, I would say yes, definitely doctors practicing in the US earn better than doctors practicing in the UK or pretty much anywhere else in the world. And George, the other thing is you mentioned, well, it's expensive to study medicine. So let me give you an indication again of what the fees are. If you go onto our website, you'll be able to see a tuition and fees page where all of our published fees are. And yes, to reiterate, studying medicine is expensive. It's one of the most expensive degrees that are out there. So St. George's University, we are not more expensive or less expensive than a typical US medical school or a UK medical school for that matter. We're kind of on par. But we do offer scholarships as well, and I'll speak about that in a minute. The fees generally for the preclinical years, before you get onto the 4-year MD degree program, the preclinical years, those are the cheaper years in terms of tuition fees. At the moment, current fees are around about $37,000 for the year. And of course, that excludes living costs that you've got to take into account as well. When you promote into the MD program, you're looking at the fees vary year on year. Some years are more expensive than others, but on average, I would say over the 4 years, it's around about $80,000 per year for the 4 years. And that's before scholarships. So let me just have a quick word about scholarships. We do offer partial scholarships. They are financial needs-based scholarships for our students, especially coming into the 5-year or the 4-year program, 6-5 or 4-year program. That is done on an individual family financial needs basis. So once you are accepted to go to the interview stage, we'll actually ask you or invite you to submit what we call a confidential financial statement. That'll give an indication of the family's income, where you're getting the money from to pay for the program, and indicate where there might be some shortfalls. The Scholarship Review Board will have a look at that, and I would say about 75 to 80% of our African students, of our international students actually, do get granted a scholarship of some sort. Now, that may cover somewhere between 5% of the tuition fees up to about 25% of the tuition fees, and that's all just on a case-by-case basis. So we're looking at around anywhere from, I guess around $20,000 scholarship. Some students have got up to $80,000 scholarship. And really, there's nothing that we can do to influence that. That's all done through the Scholarship Review Board, and as I said, on a case-by-case basis. But it certainly helps.
No, yeah, that definitely does help. And I think, to parents listening in on this, who are always worried about the conversation in terms of when it comes to finance, I think that there's a lot of help and support. The one thing I did want to mention with parents, the question that I've been getting, is the support services that SGU offer and the way they build these students to think medically is just, it's an incredible approach that they've taken. We've seen it with students that we've sent over the years who, graduated and become doctors, and are either back here in South Africa or studying or still doing the residency in the United States. Their experience all speaks for itself. Bradley, my question to you from one of the students here that was listening in on this is, what are those types of support services really like? Is it like a building? Is it like an online portal like most universities do? Or how does that kind of work at SGU?
So yeah, depending on which campus you go to, there are actually on-site support services there. So our Department for Educational Services is actually a department dedicated to making themselves available to students who might need some additional assistance from an academic point of view. Our international officers on hand to provide practical support from all of the logistical perspective. And of course, we have a Dean of Students office as well, which is providing general support to a student, whether that's emotional support, psychological support, academic support, housing support, homesickness support, whatever they need. There is somebody on hand on campus to help you, absolutely. Some of the online support that we do might be prior to the program being started. So in other words, if your English requirements just don't meet the mark, there may be a short online program that will ask you to join, but that's all done as part of the application process, and each student is treated again differently based on individual merit. But yeah, it's the one thing that St. George's University is extremely proud of. We recognize that students are far away from home. They're probably coming to a different type of education system, and they're studying one of the most difficult subjects that you can study. So we want to ensure everybody's success, not just to pass the program, but to actually get on the road to a successful career. So everything we do is aimed at ensuring that a student has everything that they need to succeed.
Thank you, Bradley. Bradley, I've gone through some of the questions that the team had sent through here, and you've spoken on most of those. We went through costs and support. The one thing I wanted to ask you, and knowing that you visited the island, and Panel, who our general manager is here, who's visited the island as well, what's one place you'd recommend for students to go and see or do on the island that might not be necessarily be on the medical buildings?
Well, of course, as I kind of briefly mentioned in that presentation, Grenada is known as one of the top diving destinations in the Caribbean. People travel from all over the world to go there, and many of our students end up getting their PADI license, their scuba diving license, while they're there as an additional sort of thing that they're doing to distract them, from the rigors of study, to get some downtime and to get some R&R. So I would definitely recommend the diving. It's pretty much like studying, in a resort location. You're in one of the most beautiful places in the world. That's on the Grenada side. On the UK side, I would say, Newcastle is definitely one of the most sought after places to go and visit in the UK. It's a tremendous student location. I think around 60,000 students actually in and around, international students in and around Newcastle. So what a buzz, what a vibe. There's loads to do. I'd make sure that you plan some time with your fellow students to go and explore the city as well.
Yeah, thank you, Bradley. I'm going to put our contact details on the screen here, just for people that are listening on the recording or live here on the webinar as well. We'd like to thank you both for joining us today. Really do appreciate having you both on this webinar. Bradley, for your presentation, thank you very much. We will share this with all the schools and the students that we work with. And to everybody listening in, if you'd like to have that consultation, it's free. There's no charge for any of these services that we offer at Global Education. And to have the likes of SGU director here at an email or call away is truly, truly remarkable. So thank you very much to both of you for joining us today.
It's our pleasure. And I'd just like to say, George, that Anne Grace has just given her contact details in the text chat there. So somehow through your fancy technology, you can make it available to everybody that's watching the recording. And she's going to be first point of contact for anyone interested in putting an application in through Global Education.
Brilliant.
And thank you so much for having us. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and do get in touch. That recording will be live shortly.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.